Hello everyone, if you're tuning in. This is my water ceremony workshop that I'm going to be starting in the next minute. This is my setup. My 2 tank drums are here.
David, this is Marlene.
Hi Marlene.
How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Let me give you a... Did you come from Homestead?
From Miami.
Oh, from Miami?
Yes.
Nice to have you.
Thank you.
So what do you know about water? Aside from it being liquid.
I know that water can have good vibration and bad vibration. I'm actually working with vibrational water with a doctor from Flint.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm very interested to see what you have.
Awesome. I'd love to talk to you about that then. What was your name one more time?
Marlene.
Marlene? Was Marlene the one that we were waiting for, or were we waiting for another one? Okay, awesome. So we'll get started like as soon as Christina gets back. You wanted to share something?
You know that everything is right where it's supposed to be at the right moment, at the right time, for the right reason. Trust, my love. Trust. Because we are held in the hands of pure love.
Okay.
Lots of changes.
It's going to get better. Hi, Christina.
So we're going to get started. You ready?
As you are ready.
Awesome. So to get started, we're just going to close our eyes, grounding ourselves to the present moment, placing both hands on your lap or on your knees. I'm just going to play a light sound healing to begin the class. So close the eyes, take a deep inhale in through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Next deep inhale, hold for 10 seconds. Deep inhale in. Exhale out the mouth. Breathing normally. And to ground yourself in the present moment, begin placing your attention and your awareness on your heart, the beating against the chest. All of your awareness goes there for a moment. We're going to begin opening our vessels to receive inner wisdom, to receive guidance. So begin placing your awareness and attention at the top of the crown. And in your own way, begin visualizing the crown opening. Either like a flower, a door, a portal. And once it's open in your mind, using the imagination, the God gift that you've been given, begin visualizing the energy of Source, of God, flowing in through the top of the crown, in through the entire body, all the way down to the feet. And then begin to place your attention and your awareness on your root, the root chakra, below the base of the spine. We're going to create a circuit with our body, combining Source and Gaia, Mother Earth. So doing the same thing, visualizing a door, a portal, a flower emerging at the base of the spine to receive the healing energy of the earth flowing up in through the root, grounding you to this moment. Combining with the energy of Source throughout the body, flowing all the way to the top of the head. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Breathing normally. And when you're ready, opening your eyes, being present. How do you guys feel? Awesome. So, have you guys heard of the concept of creating your reality? Have you? Awesome. Science is now getting to the point that it's catching up to showing that we're creating our reality, even though they're not necessarily saying it. There's a Japanese scientist, his name is Dr. Masaru Emoto, that shows when you apply intention, meaning you have deliberate focal control of where you're placing your awareness, you are manipulating reality by sending intention into water. And he showed that by getting 2 containers of water, one that was labeled love and gratitude and one that was labeled hate. And then he sent those emotions to those two containers of water. And then he froze the water. And he realized when he looked under a microscope, the one that was labeled love and gratitude was very beautiful, like sacred geometry. And one that was labeled hate was very distorted, very chaotic. So then he started testing other things about how you can manipulate water. And the other ways he tested was sound frequencies. He played rock and roll music to certain things. He played classical music to certain things. And what I feel that he missed the point on, what I'm going to go over in a moment, is he played classical music to water and he noticed that the vibration of the water changed to look very crystalline, very beautiful. He played rock and roll music, which I feel in his reality, he did not like rock and roll music. So in his reality, he created the perception that rock and roll music would distort the water itself. So in his reality, when he played rock and roll music, it changed the molecular structure of the water to look very chaotic, very distorted, like the words hate and suffering and all those other negative words that we look at. Now, once I get my lab up and working with my whole idea that I'm creating a water technology, I want to test that theory to see someone who really loves rock and roll music and have them play that rock and roll music to the water and see if it changes how the crystalline formation is. So that's something that I want to do. Now, the other things that he started looking at is water holds memory. So wherever the water flows, whatever is around in that environment of the water itself, it retains the memory within the compounds of it. So the way that he proved this, and he showed this, is he would get a picture. I believe he had a picture of a dolphin one time, a picture of an elephant, and a picture of a heart, each under different containers. And he left it under there, I think, for like 24 hours. And then he froze the water, and he took a photo of it, and he noticed that the inside, it looked like it took a still image of the image of what was placed under it. So inside the crystalline formation was a little photo of a dolphin, of a heart, or of an elephant. So water listens. Water is very malleable to whatever intention and frequency that you send to it. Now, understanding that basic concept that water holds memory, we are made of 70 to 80% water. So every time that we say to ourselves that you're not good enough, you're not worthy enough, you're not going to do this, I can't do this, I can't do that, you're programming yourself, literally programming yourself. So every time you use the words can't, try, should, and need, you're programming your body so that you limit yourself, so that you pretend that you're a lot lesser than you normally are. Where in reality, we're the gods and goddesses of our reality. We literally create everything around us for the purpose of growth. So if you begin to take those 4 words out of your vocabulary, or begin to be very mindful of those 4 words, you'll begin to manipulate your reality in a much higher vibration, a much higher frequency. And that's why affirmations are such a big importance. If you don't do affirmations yet, if you haven't created affirmations for yourself, do that. Because when you do affirmations in the morning, you're literally programming the water in your body to listen to that. Even though you may not feel it in the beginning. Like every morning, I have a set ritual where I say a power statement and affirmation statements. So my power statement now, I used to be, I am the Water Magister, inspiring, intuitive, insightful, free-spirited, tactical, transparent, victorious, zealous, and I travel the world while making money. But now that I feel that I embody that already, I have now switched my power statement to something else. Now my power statement is, I am the Source Commander, energetic, motivated, bold, dynamic, innovative, fortuitous, triumphant, legendary, and everything I do is driven by unconditional love. So you keep these power statements and you keep these affirmation statements going until you feel that you embody them within yourself, that you feel that the water has listened, and now everything in your outside space is reflecting that same thing. Because when I was doing the affirmation statements of the water, I am the Water Magister, I started getting all these people telling me, oh, you're so inspiring, thank you so much for helping me and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, I feel that I embody that statement now. So now I move on to the next statement that I feel that I don't embody. And each time you do that, you're programming the water in your body to keep pushing forward while creating foundations and platforms to build upon. There are things called sigils, which I'm actually creating a workshop specific to teaching about sigils. Sigils are specific symbols, like sacred geometry, that hold specific vibrations or intentions. Each time that you either draw a symbol or the sigil, you've given it that much more ability to manifest and impact your reality. So when you use sigils on water, it's the same thing as placing an image below the water to program the water. There are specific sound vibrations that affect the water as well. Like the most common one that we use is 432 hertz. The other one is 528 hertz. These two tank drums play at 432 hertz. So when I do the sound healing for you guys, the full sound healing, you'll be feeling the resonance in your body. So it'll begin programming the body and aligning it to the 432 hertz frequency. The other factors that affect water that Dr. Masaru Emoto did not go into is colors. There's a thing known as color therapy. It's called chromotherapy. So when you put water inside of vessels that are green, it'll represent the heart chakra. It has a specific frequency that aligns to that specific chakra point. And if you have other colors like blue, green, red, orange, all those other ones, and you place the water in each one, and then you drink that water, you can test and see how you feel during those different vibrations. And another interesting thing is we live in Florida. Florida is a very humid place. So every inhalation you're taking, you're inhaling water. What does that mean? When we understand that we are energetic beings, that everything outside of this physical sensation, we have the aura, and then we have like the spiritual body and all those other energetic fields. All those energetic fields and the way that you feel currently inside of yourself, you're programming your outside space. So some people have the capability of looking directly at a person's face, and even though you have a mask on, they can see exactly what you're feeling. So you can put whatever mask on you have, but there are people who can see past it. And how is that? Because they can notice your field. They're feeling you. You're feeling what they're feeling. I feel in my experience, what I've learned is they're feeling the water all around us. So they're feeling the different water molecules interacting with their own field, and they're noticing a distortion. So every inhalation you take, it creates a toroid of your specific emotion. So if you're really sad, if you're really angry, you're programming all your outside space to be sad and angry as well. And then when you inhale, you're actually inhaling that water that has that sad or angry resonance to it. And then what you notice is the moment that you change, that you make a choice to feel something else, you'll feel a different way, because now you start programming the water to be something else. That's just a concept that I've played with in my head, and I've noticed it. So to explain what is inside this specific container, I made a thing called I Love You Water. It's made, I did it about, I'd say 3.5, 4 years now. I started because of Dr. Masaru Emoto, and I wanted to see if it was true or not, because I was very skeptical. Well, I can't even say that word. Damn it. And I just solidified my own belief that I couldn't say the word by saying the word can't. So being mindful of what you say. So what I did is I have a reverse osmosis filter. I take out all the impurities of the water. I add trace minerals into the water. I add Himalayan pink salt into the water. I add colloidal silver into the water, which I make my own colloidal silver. I add and all this is a progression. This all didn't happen in the very beginning. At first, it only started with reverse osmosis and pink salts. And then little by little, my guides and my intuition were like feeding me information, like, hey, put this in it. I'm like, okay. So I started listening that way because I hear voices quite often when they want to communicate. So now I add a thing called ormus. Ormus is monoatomic gold, white powder gold. They also call it mana. It's made from Dead Sea salt and the I Love You water. But what I do is I add a couple drops of it into the water, and it hyperstructures the water. So what ormus is, essentially, it's monoatomic elements. So they're elements that are at such a small level that they only have one molecule, one atom, I believe, and allows you to ingest it. So it gives you a greater sense of clarity, it gives you a greater sense of awareness, and it increases your ability in which to manifest things a lot quicker. So I place that into the container as well. And there's a much bigger container that I have at my house, and it's an egg shape. I have it as an egg shape because it represents the Fibonacci sequence. And it creates a vortex inside of it when you spin it a certain way. So it's in a 5-gallon egg-shaped container that is green because I'm using chromotherapy as well. And then I have magnets on the outside of the container. Magnets lower the viscosity of the water. So what does that mean? Any nutrients, like say for instance, if you were to make tea out of this, or even the salts and the trace minerals that I add to it, it allows those minerals to penetrate your cells and membranes at a much quicker rate than they normally would, because the viscosity of the water, the density of the water is a lot thinner, so it can actually flow through your system a lot quicker. And in essence, they say that it makes water wetter, which sounds funny, but it's true. If you ever have drank structured water and then compare it to tap water or bottled water, which essentially is tap water, you'll notice that structured water tastes more milky, more dense in a way, because it's a lot.
Like hard water.
Yeah, exactly. And also I met Dr. Masaru Emoto 3 months before he passed away. So he signed a flyer of mine, or a flyer of his that has the sacred geometry, or the whatchamacallit, the snowflakes that he took photos of, and I pasted that on the container so that I have his vibration on every project, every water that I add stuff to. I also purchased a vinyl record player that sits to the side of the big 5-gallon jug, and it plays classical music to the water. The reason I got a vinyl record player is because nowadays, if you were to use a radio, it plays it at a different frequency. It doesn't play it at 432 hertz anymore. Back in the 1960s, they changed some type of policy that it no longer plays at that frequency, that it plays at 440 hertz, which actually disrupts your brain waves, it disrupts your brain activity. And it makes you more, what did they say? It makes you more kind of disoriented in a way, so that you're not able to focus and concentrate a lot easier. So for 432 hertz, that's why I got the vinyl record player to play it at that frequency, so that the water takes that now. And now that I purchased the tank drums, I also play this, so it plays at 432 hertz for it.
I put that in my house on YouTube, and I just let it play.
Yes, that's awesome. I love listening to binaural beats and frequency waves. So if you look back at people who have listened to classical music, you realize that a lot of intellectuals listen to classical music. Think about why. Because it aligns your body to that frequency to be very focused. So they knew what was going on even without knowing. What else do I do? So there's certain crystals that structure water. One of the main crystals that structure water is called an anhydrous quartz. An anhydrous quartz crystal is when that quartz crystal formed, it formed around a water molecule. So if you move that crystal back and forth, you'll notice that the water is still inside of it. So it has the original imprint of water that we had before we contaminated our waters. So when you place that in a container of water that has a lower vibration, it begins to raise into that same vibration, that same template of what we used to have. There's also other crystals that I utilize. I use shungite. I use non-irradiated blue topaz. I use aquamarine. I use Laminar Crystal, which is essentially clay and mica. The reason I use that one is mica brings the water to the same vibration of rivers, a flowing river, so it's a river stone. So think of everything in terms of frequency. And since water holds memory, you're just essentially programming the water to represent that same thing, what you want to mimic.
You put it inside?
Yes. All of it goes inside the water. What else do we do? There's another crystal called Anchi crystal, ANCHI, that only comes from one part of the world. The location is eluding me, but if you want to do some more research, there's a website that has all these crystals. It's called dancingwithwater.com. They have all those crystals that I mentioned. That's where I actually learned a lot of information about the water itself and how to program. So I was going to light these. Is it possible to turn the light down a tiny bit? So the reason I'm going to light this is I like to, in all of my workshops and all my practices, I like to play with elements. When you begin to honor the different elements, they begin to honor you and they support you. So fire represents change, growth, letting go. Water represents emotion, feeling. Earth represents grounding, safety, security. And air represents the flowing self. So this whole thing that we're going to do is essentially a ritual. We're going to be doing a ritual around the water, giving thanks to the water, because we are water. Water is our life force. Water is what we're made out of. Oh, I forgot to mention the other crystals. So those are the crystals that are in there. I have a huge crystal grid around it. And that crystal grid was given to me by guidance. I really didn't know how to set up crystal grids. And I had all these crystals and my guys were just like, just do it. I'm like, okay. So I put it in a certain formation and I took a photo of it. And then I ended up looking online to see what that formation meant. And I found it to be something from a pagan, it was a pagan symbol, which pagan is, it can be conceived as like a negative thing because what we've done to that specific religion. But it was a symbol to draw energy into an object. And I didn't even know what that was, but I did it just knowingly. There's certain crystals that you can utilize, like the shapes of a crystal. If you get a pyramid-shaped crystal and you put it on top of the water, a pyramid itself, it's a conductor of energy. It draws energy in. So you would put a pyramid on top of the water so that it would draw the energy in from all around your space. So that's one of the things that I do for this as well. And then I do a meditation on the water and putting the masculine and feminine energy into it. So giving an aspect of myself into the water so that it can, whoever drinks it, you begin to align yourself in the masculine and feminine energy, because each one of us has masculinity and femininity, but most have one more than the other. So, and then what else do I do? For the containers, I actually sell the I Love You water. I've been selling it for, I used to sell it for 20 for a small container like this. Now I sell it for 30 because I've been adding other stuff to it. But it's more to be used as a ritual formation. So you drink it every morning before you wake up, or not before you wake up, after you wake up, and you set an intention into it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pour the water for us, and we're going to set intentions into the water, aside from the intention that I already set into it. So going over what this is here, when I do the meditation to put the masculine and feminine energy into the water, the intention that I set into it is remembrance of who you are before you chose your physical bodies. So it allows you to begin unclogging certain blockages within yourself, whether it be your fear, whether it be limitation, so that you can begin facing those aspects of yourself. And this wooden object here that you see is an altar piece that I had personally made for me. If you look at the center, there's sacred geometry, and there's also one of my sigils that was given to me in a deep meditation. So I actually have a sigil that's tattooed on my back, which actually brings me to another subject once I'm done with this. So that sigil, what was given to me is the sigil of remembrance. Yep. So it's the one in the center. It's a triangle, a Y, and it looks like a snake going up in it. And I didn't know any of this stuff. So when I received it, I was doing Reiki on people, and I received that symbol as I'm doing Reiki on the person, and I was asking, why am I being shown this? But I would still apply that Reiki, that specific symbol on them, and I noticed that they would feel it. They would feel some type of difference in themselves. And after 3 months, I asked, can you share with me what it means? And it told me that the name in a different language, I don't know what language it is Chogopal. I have no idea. Chogopal, Chogopal. And it means the sigil of remembrance. So like what I was putting in the water in the beginning anyways, is remembrance of who you are before you chose your physical body. So going into tattoos now, when you realize that you are made of 70 to 80% water, your body is a vessel for that water. So just like this glass container is a vessel for this water, and I have sacred geometry on the outside of this vessel right here, you're programming the water in your body based on the intention of what it is that when you made that sacred geometry or what you had for the tattoo. So there are people who get tattoos because they just want attention. There are people who get tattoos because they're feeling, I'm not gonna sneeze. Excuse me. There are people who get tattoos because they feel that they want to draw something to them. But realistically, in ancient tribes, they would get tattoos to empower themselves. It was a form of empowerment because they knew whatever symbol that they would put on them, it would program the water in their body going forward. So I actually have that tattoo on my back so that I could always remember who I am before I chose my physical body. And it's been a process of facing my fears, a process of facing my limitations. So it's not given to you all at once. If you were instantly awoken and giving all the power in the world, it would be pretty overwhelming, I would think. So it comes in stages, I feel. So that's one of the things why I have that tattoo on my back. Is there any questions so far? Thank you. Thank you. During this whole learning process for the past 3-4 years, I started reflecting as to why or how Jesus turned water into wine. And I realized what it is his intention. Because he understood water is one element that is so malleable and is so open to relation of change. And there's I think last year I did there was civics in 19 say experiments. And what they did is they had a little vial of poison and they placed it in water. They left it there for I think 3 years, and then they took that out. They tested the water, and they gave it to someone. Okay, so I don't know if based on that experiment, the poison of what was in it. So I feel that they did more than just place it in there, but in the study, that's all they did. I think they did a whole revolver of it. And then that where there was a jug of water meeting some advisors. I forgot which advisors it was. This was the same period. And all of them got, and they tested the water was just water. So
it was World War II. They were involved in all this in Tokyo. They were discussing of why they fire
Okay.
All fine. And none of them tested positive for any poison. But the hate, the energy, and the spirit of warfare ended up in doing that water and poison.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, I knew about the story. I didn't realize the details though. But
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. So when I read that, I wonder if I could do that same thing with wine, like in wine. So I ended up getting a little container of wine, or putting it in it, and leaving it for 3 days, and not able to do it. But I think a way to turning water into wine.
Yes, let us know when you do it.
I know, we don't get the toxicity.
First ones to buy.
So it's an interesting concept to play with, because, I mean, this life is just to play with, experiment, and have fun. So I do little experiments like that all the time. See what I can create. But the moment I do, I'll be hit. So we're gonna do our own little ritual around this water. Can I have someone pass the water around? Yeah. You don't drink the water just yet. We're all gonna do and actually, as you're passing this out, I'm gonna talk about something else. You start churches would bless their water, intention into the water, and is just putting intention, and maybe speaking a word or a phrase that has vibration, and they're using that word magic, because your words literally magic. So words can be construed as a sigil, and each time that you say a specific word, you empower that word more and more and more, just like sigil. You empower that more and more and more. So then we say those words, water, use the water in that way. How we do that, to bless water. We're going to place one hand in one hand above, and then go ahead and begin to close your eyes. Deep inhale into the nose. Normal. Placing all your attention in your hands. And once more. Okay. Now I want you to begin to place your attention and your focus in the center of the mind, where the brain is located. Once all of your focus and awareness goes there, you're going to begin creating a little ball of light. Using your imagination. This ball of light, what you're creating, is called a thought form. A thought form is a manifestation or visualization of something that you've created. Usually we create thought forms unconsciously based on emotions, things that we don't want to feel. But in this instance, we're going to create a conscious thought form, so that we can program this thought form with an intention to program the water with. There's many different ways to program water with intention. This is just one of the ways that I enjoy. So as you're focusing your awareness on that ball of light in the center of the mind, inhale, visualize the ball of light, expand it. Exhale, visualize that ball of light, contract them. Now I want you to begin visualizing in your mind something that you want to intend, something that you want to manifest for yourself. Maybe it's letting go of something. Maybe it's getting something, manifesting a new job, a new relationship, a vacation, whatever it is. But I want you to visualize it in a way that you already see yourself there. You see yourself moving through that environment, that reality. Because the truth is that you're already there. You just haven't allowed yourself to align to that vibration, that frequency. So as you're focusing on this intention, this manifestation, allow yourself to feel what it feels like to already have that. Noticing the sensations of joy, of happiness, of bliss, as you're already there. Once you feel that sensation, that feeling, it's automatically being programmed into that ball of light in the center of the mind. There's nothing you have to do. And that ball of light is absorbing it. It's absorbing the intention. Now begin to place your focus and awareness back on the ball of light in the center of the mind. And in your mind, begin visualizing that ball moving down the neck, following it with your awareness. Begin visualizing it moving down to the chest and pausing at the chest. Allowing yourself to feel what you feel in this moment, any tingly sensations, any warmth or coldness. As all of your awareness goes to that ball in the center of the chest. Now begin to visualize that ball moving through either the left shoulder or the right shoulder. You can choose for yourself. Begin seeing it moving down the upper arm. Down to the lower arm. Until it's sitting in the palm of your hand for a moment. Allowing yourself to feel what you feel. Any tingly sensations, any warmth or coldness. And then in your mind, begin visualizing that ball of light go into the water itself. Merge into the water itself. Combining with the intention that I've personally set into this water, of remembrance of who you are before you chose your physical body, so that you can begin to let go of those limitations, those fears. And keep visualizing it until that sphere, that ball, is completely merged into the water. So in your mind, that water looks luminescent, full of light. Once completed, take a deep inhale in through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Last deep inhale, hold for 10 seconds. Deep inhale in. Exhale out the mouth. Breathing normally. And when you're ready, slowly opening the eyes, fixing your gaze on the water itself. Acknowledging that this water is an aspect of you. And since water has memory, since water listens, stating the following out loud, if you choose, or in your mind. But if you speak out loud, as I mentioned before, your words hold vibration and your words are magic. So simply stating, thank you, water. I love you, water. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Breathing normally. And when you're ready, in your own time, in your own way, drinking the contents of this cup. But as you do, be very present of how it's flowing down the neck and how it's flowing into the stomach. You can do so now. Once complete, closing the eyes, placing your hands on your lap or on your knees, and just allowing yourself to feel how the body is beginning to react to the water. The water that you drank, beginning to program the water in your body with that intention. You may start to feel tingly sensations through the body. Or you may not feel anything at all, but just be very present with yourself. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Breathing normally. And when you're ready, slowly opening your eyes. So does anyone want to share how you feel? What came up? And when you start being more in touch with your body, when you speak certain words, when you put certain things into your body will communicate with you because your body literally is a communications device. So if you start to feel tingly sensations, it's like, oh, you're giving love to me. So pay attention to those moments. And I don't know if any of you have done certain things where if you say certain words in the mirror, after a certain amount of time, you'll start feeling tingly sensation because you're starting to really feel that. You're starting to really resonate with that. So that's an indication that you're on the right track with your body. It's a lot of different elements that are in the sport. So the ritual aspect of it plays a lot. Since we're all co-creating the moment together, our energy is to learn and grow, so that plays a lot. Well, yeah. It's a beautiful thing when you actually start acknowledging water for what it is. Which actually brings me to my next subject, the whole standing rock thing that's happening. The world does not need saving. The world does not require saving. Mother Earth has been around way longer than we have. But this whole thing that's happening, I feel, and I predicted this stuff to happen even before it was going to happen. Some of my friends know that. And what I said was, there's going to come a time where there's going to be a lot of contamination of water. There's going to be water droughts because in order for us to begin to learn how powerful water is, you have to create something that draws awareness to the water. Otherwise, our people are just going to disregard it. So that's why this whole thing in Standing Rock is happening from an upper. If you look at it from an upper view, so it's absolutely necessary that this stuff is happening for a vast amount of reasons. But I feel the major reason is to place attention and awareness on water again, and we realize that water. In the previous cycle that we lived in, Jesus was the Messiah. In this cycle that we're in, I feel that water is going to be our Messiah. That we are going to learn how powerful it is. And not only that, but we're going to learn based on that how powerful we are. Because we are water. We have that in us. So if we recognize it outside of us, it's inside of us. So that's the biggest thing that I took away from the whole Standing Rock situation. Can you get a time check? So for the next 30 minutes, we're going to do a sound healing, and I'm going to guide you on a meditation. So if you'd like, do you have any pillows?
We have some pads. We have a couple.
Because I'm going to have you guys lay down. I'm going to play the sound, the tank drum, while I guide you guys in meditation. While I fix this. And sorry for the ears. I'm doing that now from now on to have people that are in different states that have been wanting to come to my workshops and stuff, but they haven't been able to. Unless you're comfortable sitting upright, but you're going to be like that for 30 minutes. And face your head towards me so they can hear it better. So this is going to be a type of shamanic meditation and guidance. I'm going to take you through different portions of yourself. Yeah, there's a lot of articles now coming out that sounds and colors are a huge factor in influences of our life, or of our bodies, our beings, our state of being. But again, science is only catching up. So, as you begin to come into yourself and relax and go of the day, based on the discussion that we had, knowing that the vibration of this frequency, these drums, is going to be supporting your state of relaxation. So, closing the eyes if you haven't already. Taking a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Breathing normally. Begin recreating the room that you're in before you closed your eyes to the best of your ability. Remembering what was on the walls, the textures of the walls, who else was in the room with you. Remembering what clothes you wore before you closed your eyes. And little by little, as you begin to recreate this in your mind, you begin to notice that the textures of the walls, the textures of the floor begin to disappear, beginning to turn white. The people that were in the room with you begin to disappear, and it's just you. Inside of a white room. seeing yourself laying down inside that white room. In your mind, inside this white room, seeing yourself beginning to slowly stand up in that room. Looking down towards your physical body. Seeing how peaceful you are in this moment. Seeing how peaceful that physical body is in. Knowing how safe your body is, because it's a room of healing, of regeneration. This is a room of love, of peace. So while you go on your journey, you know your body is safe. Over to the right of you, you begin to notice a door emerge. Your curiosity begins to get the best of you, and you begin walking over towards this door. You begin to place your ear against the door to see if you can hear something on the other side. And you hear beautiful animals, wind blowing. So you begin to open the door slowly. And on the other side of this door, you notice a beautiful forest. You look back towards your physical body, knowing it will be safe. Begin to step through this door. Closing the door behind you. Looking at the whole scenario of what you're creating here. The beautiful sun up in the sky, the beautiful trees, the colors, the smells. You take in the atmosphere, the beauty in all things. Maybe a portion of you begins to remember that you've been here before. And over to the left, you begin to see these bushes beginning to rattle. And a shadowy figure begins to emerge. It begins to take shape. It begins to take shape of an animal. Remember what animal this is. This animal has a specific name that it tells you. And you begin to have an open conversation with this animal through just thought. This animal knows everything about you and knows about your life and this current existence. So you can ask it any question you want. It actually says, "Thank you for coming back. It's been a while." This is your animal guide. next few moments, begin to have an open dialogue with this animal guide, asking it questions that you wish that you want answered for certain things that are going on in your life. You may do so now. The animal guide begins to walk and invites you to follow while you're still having the conversation. Be going deeper into the forest. You are safe. The animal begins to speak to you and ask you something. It's asking you why you're being so serious inside this place. It invites you to begin being like a child once more. So for the next few moments, run through the forest, climb the trees, fly, dance. And play with the animal guide. Remember how it was to be a child, free. There's no one here to judge you. This is your own inner space. As you're playing, you begin to notice a mountain off in the distance. Begin making your way towards this mountain, either flying, walking, running, going at your own pace. Almost towards the mountain. now at the base of the mountain. You see a pathway leading up towards the center of the mountain, and there seems to be an entrance towards this mountain. Begin to make your way towards that entrance. You're now making your way towards the entrance of the mountain, that cave that you saw. And right from the beginning of the cave, you see all these crystal formations, beautiful colors, all around the walls of the mountain. Something that you've never seen before. Amethyst, citrine, maybe crystals that you've never seen before in your mind either. Different colorations. Your animal guide follows with you into the cave. And as you begin to go deeper into the cave, you begin to hear a source of water, like a waterfall. Begin making your way towards that mountain, or towards the waterfall itself, the source of sound. And you see this huge room with the waterfall going down into 7 pools. 7 pools of water, starting from the top. The first pool of water, the color is white, it's clear, luminescent, representing the crown. The next source of water, the pool of water that it's flowing into, is purple, dark blue. There's crystals in each of these pools of water that are each the same color of the water. The next one down is light blue. The next pool of water down is green. The next one down is yellow. And the next one is orange. And the last one, the closest to you, is red. Each having its own color tone. And the crystals are a different color, the same color of the water as well. So in this moment, I invite you to begin walking over towards the color that best resonates towards you. And begin in your mind slowly walking towards that water, going into the water itself, allowing the water to cleanse your spiritual body, your etherical body. For the next few moments, allow yourself to indulge in that water, feeling the vibration of what it brings to you. Now that you're in that water, enjoying the vibration, begin to slowly step out of water once more, the opposite end of which you came. As you step out of water, your body is instantly dry again. And it begins to form a pillar right next to you, which a treasure chest is now emerging from, that is pertaining to that specific water point that you were in, the color that you were at. Inside this treasure chest is a specific message for you, a message that has something to do with something that is happening in your life that you've been seeking an answer for or guidance from. It can come in form of a word, it can come in form of an object, an animal, a sound. For the next few moments, I give you free leisure to open the chest and absorb what it is that is inside that chest. Do so now. Now that you've absorbed what was inside that chest, you begin to see another door emerge to the right of you, leading back to that white room where your physical body is in. Before you head towards the door, the animal guide speaks to you, sharing something with you once more, letting you know that you can always come back to this place to relax, to let go. And it will look forward to you coming back. And it is always with you, giving you guidance. You say your goodbyes to the animal. Begin walking over towards the door. Opening the door slowly. Seeing your physical body inside that white room once more. Begin walking towards the physical body, the door closing slowly behind you. Looking at your physical body, how peaceful and relaxed it's in. In this moment, giving acknowledgement and thanking your physical body for allowing you to taste, to feel, to touch, to enjoy this entire existence that we're in. Truly acknowledging and appreciating what it offers you. to interact with this three-dimensional world that we live in. Loving every aspect of yourself. Giving that love to that temple. And as you're in this room, begin laying down in the same position that your physical body is in. And as you do, you begin to notice that the textures of the walls begin to come back slowly. The textures of the floor begin to come back slowly. The other people that were in the room with you begin to come back into the room. Taking a deep inhale into the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Last deep inhale, holding for 10 seconds. Deep inhaling. Exhale out the mouth. In this moment, being mindful of your entire body, not having to open your eyes just yet. Scanning the body from the top of the head all the way down to the feet. Last deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Breathing normally. Opening the eyes slowly. Moving the hands and feet. Coming back into the room. How's everyone feeling? Would anyone like to share what animal you had or what your experience was like? Nice. You had a bear? Wow, that's the first time I ever had anyone had a bear. That's awesome. Nice. So based on what animal you got, I would recommend you go on Google and you type in animal, whatever animal it was, spirit guide, and see what meaning it means for you. What about the color of the pool that you went into? Yellow. Awesome that you're wearing yellow too. solar plexus represents willpower, manifesting, abundance. So maybe working on willpower for you. How about you? Blue? That was third eye. So you're probably working on your intuition. You want more intuition. Nice. How you feeling, bro? Awesome. So is there anything that you guys have questions on? What happened?
Now I know what to do.
So before we close out, if for whatever reason you're interested in Ormus, you could contact me or you could purchase from here. We're selling here for $30. And it has Dead Sea salt. It's made from the base is water. I love you water, and I use sodium hydroxide, which raises the pH to 10.7, and then I begin a washing process to take out all the sodium hydroxide afterwards. And what you're left with is Ormus, is the monatomic state of the white powder gold. You just do a couple of drops under the tongue. Actually, you do. I do 3 droppers a day every morning, but I would recommend that you just start with 1 dropper under the tongue, and seeing if you notice any differences. And it comes with a specific meditation. So when you do this, you hold it under the tongue for about a minute, and for the next 10 minutes, you meditate and you visualize all the things that you want to manifest, and then you start your day. This one's at a full moon. Yes. This specific one, even though I'm here, this is my old sheet that was for the new moon. So don't pay attention to the new moon part. This is full moon Ormus. It's made for ritual, for energy. So when you have this, you're gonna feel like a huge burst of energy. It's for manifesting and divination. So we're gonna close out by doing an Om. And before we do the Om, I always like to explain why we Om. Because I feel like a lot of people in this spiritual community just Om just to do it. So I want to explain a little bit. Oming is the sound of the universe. It's the frequency of the universe. And when you begin to understand that your body is 70 to 80% water, when you're Oming, you're vibrating the water in your body to bring you to that same resonance, that same vibration of the universe, so that you can begin to receive more intuitional thoughts. And you can begin to be in more alignment with the universe itself instead of going against certain things. So I just want to explain that. By the way, I just want to point something out that's really hilarious that I find is my little flame right here is so tiny, but it hasn't gone out. It's like I'm still here. Okay. So closing our eyes, placing our hands in our lap or in our on our knees, whatever you feel comfortable. And concluding with, let's do 3 Oms to seal in the vibration, to seal in the activation that we received today. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Next, deep inhale will begin. Deep inhale in. Breathing normally, bringing your hands to heart center in prayer position in front of the heart. Bringing the prayer hands up to the third eye and saying out loud or in your mind, I see you. Raising the prayer hands up above the head and stating out loud, I understand you. Bringing it back down to the heart and saying this to yourself, but you're going to say it out loud. But you're going to say it in a way as if you were to say it to a lover, but direct it to yourself. I love you. Thank you and namaste. You're welcome. It just went out. It waited. It's like, I'm gonna wait.
You just want to tell them a little bit about your future dates, what you're going to be doing?
I don't know dates, but could you
I
elaborate
don't
on
have
the
the
dates?
exact dates, but I know they can look on the website. I mean, the Facebook page.
Okay. So yeah, I have 2 upcoming workshops. One of them is I'm teaching an astral travel workshop where we do a ritual around a tea. There's about 12 different herbs inside the tea to bring you to that state of vibration to allow you to even have that out of body experience. So it's not ayahuasca or anything like that, but they are herbs to allow you to be more present with the mind, to relax the body, which is what you want to keep, what you want to create for the self. And then I guide a meditation using tank drums and binaural beats, so that you can have an out-of-body experience. It's not guaranteed every time. This is more of a practice so that you can learn to utilize it and do it at home. And the workshop is an hour and a half to 2 hours. Yeah, that's one of them. And then the other workshop I'm teaching is Sigil Magic. So I went over that in the beginning. Every